Hi, Isaac. Welcome to BizTalk. That's my great pleasure having you today. How are you?
Yeah, thank you, Max. I'm doing well. Nice to see you, and I'm happy to be at this platform.
Thanks for coming. So
Thank
let's
you.
start talking about a bit of yourself, man, or your background, and of course your foundation.
My name is Isaac Waithaka. Generally, I'm a social entrepreneur, having founded several social enterprises, and also, yeah, started a small foundation to be able to support social entrepreneurs.
Well, and what about the foundation?
Generally, I'm the founder of this foundation, and how it began, it's a long story, but to cut it short, I'm here at high school. I have some friends who are ahead of me. They had cleared high school and college. And after clearing college, so what they would do on a daily basis is looking for a job. So was their work. So I thought, why should I join college? And yet I'm not going to get a job. So I decided first to start a small social enterprise so that I'm stable enough, even if I won't secure a job, I'll have something that will be ongoing. Generally, Goblis Foundation serves young people between the ages of 18 and 35 from humble backgrounds. Those are underserved community. And generally, our focus is youth unemployment and climate change. Uh, Dearly is just to use the power of social entrepreneurship to be able to empower youth so that they can uplift themselves from poverty. Generally, our mission, goal, and vision all focuses on empowering youth so that they can constitute strong economically prosperous and self-reliant communities. And the main challenges, to be specific, the specific challenges, you can imagine 800,000 young people are usually churned out of institutions of higher learning, and out of this number, only about 50,000 which gets to be employed. The rest, which is about 750,000, they usually go to join another number, about amounting to around 2.3 million, to wait looking for a job. And why this? In 2 or 3, we had a new government administration which made free primary education free, and all children had to attend school. They also subsidized high school education. They established also so many public universities and issued loans to young people. But one mistake was done. Um, the, these children and young people were educated, but now this was not matched with the employment creation. So they are there, they're educated. We are no longer complaining of people not educated. We are complaining of job opportunities. Another, of course, extreme poverty, that around that 6 to 38% being are from poverty-stricken backgrounds, and also lack of capital, where a young person straight from school will go to apply for a bank loan. They are asked for security, and also history of transactions. Where do they get this from? And also lack of mentorship. We do not have structures to mentor young people into social entrepreneurship, because our system of education has been based on mere fact that you have to study hard to be employed and not becoming a social innovator, although the government has started preparing young people to be innovators, but at least it will take some years, maybe 20 years, for those who are starting school now to reach that level. So how we empower these people, we offer training and mentorship services. We also allow them to get access to capital, also incubation services and extension support. And how do we identify these young people? We usually partner with the community partners, usually community-based organizations, because they are the experts on the ground. From their networks and from their activities, we arrange for a one-day training event where these people are invited. And mainly the reason why we arrange for a one-day physical event is just to introduce the concept of social entrepreneurship, which is very new. Then after this one-day training event, we usually invite these young people to make applications online. And after they make applications, we usually have a decision-making team. And those who qualify, we have an online learning management system where they are onboarded for training and mentorship. And to be able to achieve that, we have our core strategies. And one of the strategies is we base ourselves on SDG Goal 1, no poverty, SDG Goal 5, gender equality, SDG Goal number 8, decent work and economic growth, SDG Goal 9, industry innovation and infrastructure, Goal 10, reduced inequality, and of course, most importantly, Goal 13, which is climate action. We only support those social entrepreneurs who take care of their environment. And the other strategy is we have our core pillars to enable us to conduct those activities. One of the core pillars, we have Jikimu Academy. Jikimu Academy transforms marginalized and vulnerable youth into social entrepreneurs using a cost-effective and efficient process being led by community volunteers. We usually call them community mentors. It's just an online learning platform, just like for any other college, but now it has additional tools like that of impact investors. They are able to track if they want to support or invest in any of social enterprises that crops up. And also the community mentors are onboarded to be able to offer mentorship services. And then after training, because this is usually done in so many colleges, what next? We have Ukenya, an online peer-to-peer crowdfunding platform, which enables these young people to pitch and fundraise from their families, friends, and well-wishers. So in terms of access to capital, we provide that platform. But at Jikimu Academy, you'll find there are those quality, exceptional ideas that might become the next unicorns. We usually send them to a Bomani Innovation Hub. Bomani Innovation Hub is a social change workshop, which is physical, where they usually undergo a 3-week bootcamp training, and their ideas are amplified. And now here it's where we usually allow impact investors to invest into these social enterprises, the startups. And the impact investors can only invest up to a maximum of 20% equity. One of the reasons is because we want these social entrepreneurs to own the idea, not to lose it. And the other one, we want impact investors not to risk a lot of their investments. An impact investor can invest in so many, as many social enterprises as they wish, but in a single social enterprise, not more than 20%. And generally the life cycle of our program goes in this way. Identification, training, and mentorship is the first. So that's usually the online, although identification is physical. And then we have the concept of community philanthropy, that's peer-to-peer crowdfunding platform and activation. That's usually the second stage. The third stage is incubation and impact investment, especially those who usually go direct, and those that terminate at Jikimu Academy. If their social enterprises perform well, then we can always refer them to Bomani Innovation Hub for incubation. And the last is usually extension support, which involves monitoring and evaluation. We want to ensure that we are offering support like networking, continuing to train social entrepreneurs, those who have launched their enterprises, to ensure that the success rate is a little bit higher. So how do we build expertise? How do we make them expertise? We usually train them, mentor through community mentors. Pitching, we help them to pitch so that even if they don't get funding through us, they are able to pitch effectively. And finally, it's usually venture formation. We usually ensure that a business is registered and they are helped to set up bank accounts and all the structures that a business require. And how we kickstart their ideas. One is through program-related investments. These are low-cost loans to these social entrepreneurs. Seed grants, you realize that these social entrepreneurs have ideas, but they don't have funds. So where do they get the funds to start, to begin their ideas? Although the impact investors are there, they still need to chip in something. If we get donors, we usually provide them with the seed grants. And also impact investors for impact investors. Microloans goes to women. There are those women who did not finish their college. Mostly is usually because of early pregnancies. Therefore, they cannot compete with others. We usually give them an exception of not clearing college to join our program. So of course, we measure the progress in all that. One way is monitoring and evaluation. We have extension officers who their main role is usually monitoring and evaluation. And of course, our exit strategy is usually around 24 months. Of course, we have several success stories and also a very great team which is doing this work, a team of volunteers and a team of experts. So far, we have been able to train 11,550 youth and also kickstarted 92 social enterprises. Out of 92 social enterprises, 47 are women-led. We have issued grants worth 130,000 USD. And also equity, we have impact investors who have invested 150,000 USD. And also we have issued loans of about 70,000 USD. And now we are calling, inviting people to be able to join our course in various ways. And one of the ways is through donations or grants to be able to support these social entrepreneurs, our beneficiaries. One can do personal donations or corporate donations through companies, corporates, or through institutional grants, the traditional institutional grants. Another way one can support us is to impact invest, either direct investment for equity, program-related investment loans, which are low-cost loans, so that we can in turn also give them to our social enterprise entrepreneurs. And also we have a consolidated fund. This is where impact investors can put in money. We decide where to invest on their behalf, and then they'll be able to recoup. And lastly, another way one is able to partner with us is through collaborative partnerships. Could be personal engagement. One can train, can advise. Project collaborations, we are open to project collaborations. And also one can empower us. They can, what EquityMatch is doing. One can talk about us, can refer us to like-minded organizations and people, nominate us, fellowships, and so forth and so forth. Yeah, thank you so much, Max, for that.
Thank you, Isaac. Let me ask you, first of all, where your foundation is based? Where is it headquartered?
The foundation is headquartered in Ruiru, that's outskirts of Nairobi. And also we have our incubation hub, which is located on the coast of Kenya, at a distance of about 500 kilometers.
Who are the partners working with you today? What's supporting you today?
Mostly, we have been supporting through our own initiatives. For example, when I started this, you'll agree with me, to be able to fund a young foundation is usually a mountain task. So I had to fund up to 90% for the first 2 years. And then last year, although we were heavily affected by COVID-19 like anyone else, we have gotten various partners. One is like Impact Direct from the Netherlands. We have Trillions Charitable Trust from the US. We also have individual funders. Generally, we haven't been able to secure a lot of funding. Because when we were planning to do that, then we had the COVID, and somehow our activities were highly affected and reduced. Now this year, henceforth, we are actively looking for funding partners to be able to amplify our activities.
You have plenty of activities, from accelerator to funding, teaching, mentoring, coaching. I mean, how much do you need to really drive your foundation to helping so many youths? There are so many. So how much do you think in your mind you really need, and how you are going to deploy this money, in which sector exactly in your foundation?
We have a strategic plan and budgets for up to 2025, the end of 2025. We need around 1.8 million US dollars per year to be able to accomplish that. And this money goes right from the bulk of it goes to identification. You realize that most of organizations, especially incubators, usually avoid going through the route of going to the community, identifying ideas at the grassroots, somewhere without internet, somewhere people have great ideas, but they are not connected to opportunities. After that, also, these funds goes to training them, incubating them through our innovation hub, because innovation hub, it has boarding facilities. These people go there to camp, and also giving them micro grants so that they are able to kickstart their ideas. Also, you find to be able to run, for example, the learning management system. It's an online infrastructure which requires substantial amounts to be able to maintain it, and also to be able to have pedagogies and ensure that we are putting in new resources and materials.
I mean, you've been talking infrastructure, and I do believe this is something very important to you, right? Because you can run technology, but without the internet, for example, it's going to be pretty difficult. How do you deal with infrastructure? How do you make sure that you can incubate these young entrepreneurs? You can give them the facility and all the instruments they need.
What we realize it's to be able to train these people online, where it's live, it's almost not possible because of the various challenges. What we usually do online is we put pedagogies, then they can learn on their own, but they have to do it within 3 months. But now, because of those challenges, to be able to incubate them, that's why we saw the need of having a physical infrastructure. So this infrastructure, it's built on 1 acre plot of land, where it has all the facilities. We are able to put water, bedding facilities. We have also, in terms of community collaboration, we have put structures how these people are able to interact with the community.
So you're bringing them on the venue, on the ground, and
yes,
giving them all the service they need. How do you approach these guys? How do you select them?
We have committees. One of the ways, it's after they are invited to apply online, we have a committee which sits at our head office to be able to select the ideas that we are looking for. Then they are onboarded online. Those who go for incubation at the innovation hub, we also have a committee. Now that's usually at the board level. Every month the board meets, the board of director meets to be able to listen to the pitches that have been made and select those who would join the incubation. So after joining the incubation, after they are through with the program, we also have a board which listens to the ideas before presenting them to the investors, especially those that we know they are going to be successful.
I mean, we are talking about social entrepreneurs, okay? What exactly this business are covering? What are tackling?
We are usually open to any kind of business, but it must be a social enterprise. That means this idea must be there to support their communities, must be an idea that protects the environment, and must be an idea that it will improve the lives of the social entrepreneurs who come up with the idea. It must improve the lives of their family and their community where they come from. So our main idea is to ensure this social enterprise protects the environment, respects the environment, and it remains local. So there must be ideas that really solve a very community challenge at a very local level.
I mean, you, if I remember, we're talking 24 months, more or less. That's how long you help will last. What about after? I mean, if I'm a young entrepreneur and coming to you, have a good idea, get some funding, okay? What's going to happen to me? Are you going to help me after the 24 months? What is the relationship?
Okay, yeah, very good. For now, what we are doing, it's incubation. After, because we had a strategic plan, we were just registered in 2018. So in 2023, we had planned to start acceleration programs. So what will happen, it's after the disruption, the 2 years disruption, we will start an acceleration program in 2025. We are going to have another physical facility where these people will go for acceleration training, and then acceleration services will take place there. So we are actually continuously looking for impact investors who can be able to input into these social enterprises past incubation stage, past pre-seed.
How difficult is for you to get in touch with impact investors and get funded? You are very young, 2 years old, so you're extremely young, the foundation. So did you find difficult to talk to them to get funded?
Impact investments, they are not usually difficult. What is difficult is to get donors for the initial processes, because that's where a lot of money is required to be able to scout. Impact investors are always there, and they just want to see a creative idea. For now, we have a number, especially after you posted. We have seen 3 perspectives, and they are saying, hey, we just need the ideas. We don't mind investing in these ideas as long as they are concrete enough. What is really challenging for us is to get donors, people who are able to, because these people cannot pay for these programs, our target group. They are too poor to be able to manage that. So impact investors, it's coming up really very well. For example, there is one impact investor from the US is willing to input around 160,000 USD every year, and that's every year. So he wants just for us to be giving him around 5 social enterprises every year from the incubation hub. So that becomes really interesting. Yes. So
what about these donors? Where they're coming from?
The donors is very difficult. One of the donors who gave substantial amount of money is also an impact investor. So he came and saw the challenges that we undergo while recruiting. But mostly currently, I'm inputting a lot of resources from my social enterprises, which were heavily affected. Actually, the initial idea was my social enterprises would fund the initial step. But after the COVID, that one became really challenging. Actually, that's the reason why I'm talking of donors. So currently, it's really challenging. We do not have donors except 2, so we are looking for the others.
But I mean, what's the definition of donors? Who are these guys? What do they give to you exactly?
Yeah, these are people who are able to give resources. Yeah, it could be material goods, it could financial, but of course the financial is the most important for us, because whatever we are doing requires about 80% of the requirement is financial. You find that donor can decide to donate a software if you are looking for a software. Currently, we are looking for laptops. We need around 30 laptops for our labs. So we are looking for a donor who is able to give this. So this means these donors, if they'll just give clean-heartedly without expecting any return, it's just for the heart. But the only conditions we usually allow, we are able to put them to where we have specified. If their laptops are for the labs, they go to the labs. If the finances are for recruitment purposes and training and mentorship, they go to those specific areas.
I mean, what about governments? Are you working with them?
What happens, we partner with governments, especially local governments, but in terms of funding, we are talking of around an average of 36% poverty level. So you find the government has so many challenges to be able to engage in such an activity. We have tried, but the government says, there are more other priorities. You'll find like now we had hunger in northern parts of Kenya. So the government will think of donating money to train people or feed people? Will the government think of improving health facilities or train people, and yet they have been trained in colleges through the government education system? So for the governments here, the structures are different and the needs are quite different to be able to engage in such activities.
I mean, you're on the ground. How long do you think does it take? We've been talking about Africa start developing for such a long time, right? But we are still in developing phase. Do you really think one day Africa can become a developed country? I mean, this is my biggest wish because it's such a beautiful country. But how do you think this can happen one day?
Yeah, in my opinion, it can. But what we have the challenges with the leaders. We have resources, so many countries, for example, the African countries like the DRC, it is alluded to be one of the richest, if not the richest in the world, because it has all the natural resources any country would have wanted. But now the leaders, we just need the change of leaders, the change of mindset, and it would start with the locals, not even the leaders, because these locals are the one who usually put these leaders onto this yeah, so you find
That's true.
yeah, the main is literacy level, which is improving, and also what is usually affected is we have so many tribal visits, the ethnic groups, so the leaders are usually chosen in terms of a tribal affiliation. So to get an objective leader in most of the African countries is usually a challenge. So until such time when such will be fixed, because these leaders, they know they have the backing of their communities. When they assume onto power, they go to steal. That's corruption. So money meant for development, everything is stolen. And then the people are left again poor, So until we change the systems, that's when the development can really happen. Development cannot come from outside because people have tried. But now you find that a lot of money is brought into Africa, but it goes into people's pockets. So until when the challenge of leadership is fixed, when the right leaders are put onto the helm and they can be questioned, they are accountable, that's when Africa will develop.
If you can give a message to foundation donors, what you can tell to them?
Yeah, I will request foundations out there, people out there, we welcome them into Kenya and Africa at large. And to be specific, we invite them to join us at Goblis Foundation to be able to empower the youth so that they can become the next generation that will be able to take care of their families, their communities, and Africa at large.
Isaac, thank you so much for coming to BizTalk. It's been a very great pleasure for me talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Max. Thank you, Max, for this opportunity, and I highly appreciate it. Wishing you all the best.
Thanks to you. Take care.